So just like I told you, I was going in there to delete the to look up the ID for the Aerospot stuff. And he asked me if it does, and I said I don't know. The first thing I saw were the messages you were deleting. And he reiterates, I think we have folks on the inside. It is myself, JB, two people negatively affected by all of these assholes who have a lot, probably have a lot to lose, and want to stay out of these people's way because they're dirtbags that try to destroy lives. They're not the leaker. And then there was Spicky. Spicky left. He got mad at me. Now, he got mad at me for probably a valid reason. I won't get into the details of it, of what it was about. You'll see a little bit of it here. But he had asked me to do something. I agreed. And he didn't like the way I went about doing it. So he got mad. He went over the top. And I just said, you know what? Let the dude go his separate ways. Let him do whatever he wants. I don't want to talk to him ever again. Just forget it. When people cross, I'm pretty tolerant and I'm forgiving, but there are certain cardinal rules that you can't break with me. If you do, I just consider you to be non-existent. You don't exist to me anymore. And it got to that point. So fine, wish him the best. I don't want anything bad happening to him. And I told people privately, and I'll just say it publicly now, that I would still actively give people disinformation that were trying to fuck him. Because there's a lot of people that want to fuck him. And you know what? I think they need to get over their Mickey Mouse fucking feelings, to tell you the truth. He posts words on a screen on the internet. All right? Get a life, everyone who wants to go out there and try to fuck people for this. So anyways, I leave it at that. He goes his separate ways. I go mine. Fine. I'm not going to help him do anything, and I'm not going to do anything that would impede him or put him in any jeopardy, right? The good thing is that I don't think I could put him in any jeopardy anyway, but I wouldn't do that because I still have people who are anonymous that I fucking hate, and I know who they are, and I could fuck them over. I could have fucked them over years ago, and I still haven't, because they don't deserve it, and the people that would come after them are by far the lowest of the low. So I asked JB again. I said, what makes you think there's a breach in the server? He says he has a suspicion. I said, I don't. He says, you know me, I've always followed the random people, and I give the breakdown of who's in the server. It's me, you, and bomb, bomb, bomb. And he starts to make excuses. Maybe it's because I'm not involved. Maybe I'm just because I'm out of the loop that I'm paranoid. I said, hold on. You're worried about the server, and you say nothing. And then you go in and delete Spicky messages and nothing from yourself. I said, just tell me that he asked you to do it. At this point, Spicky had been out of the server. He left mad, but he was out of it. He says he deleted stuff from himself, purged all the servers he was in, right? Here he's talking about Hillary Sargent. I didn't see any deleted messages from JB in the Discord server. I made him a mod because I trusted him. Then he says, if this trolling of himself doesn't stop, then I'm being trolled by Spicky or Micro. I doubt it. I mean, maybe, but they probably wouldn't do it to a point to where you start freaking out to this extent. But that's okay, because I didn't believe you here anyway. So I say, what was deleted of Spicky and why? He says, about doxing Spicky. I said, yeah, it's a joke. He knows that. Talked many times about it. He goes, but it was just me and Spicky talking about that. No, it wasn't. It's in the server. He didn't look. There's a whole channel dedicated to it. I added to that. I said, I have DMs with us planning it. Which no one's going to see unless somebody puts a gun to my head, but they exist. Spicky could verify it. And he says, well, he still just worries. It's probably just him panicking. And I said, well, it looks like every message from him is being slowly deleted. How did that happen? He says, I get radio silence from folks and I can't figure out if I'm being trolled. So I checked the audit logs. It doesn't show you as much on mobile. And he says, well, maybe I just got spooked. He says, I didn't know you guys planned it in DMs. Well, DMs and in a main channel that was open to him. So the idea was, what I wanted to do, well, what a lot of us wanted to do, was to give a spectacular, verifiable, fake person to be Spicky and watch the journalist chase them down. Maybe even show up on their doorstep, ringing their doorbell. We know who you are. And the person being like, what? Huh? But that never transpired. And here even, this is how I knew JB was lying. He said, yeah, but it never happened. And there were like 2 of them. Oh, okay. And here he goes. He starts to ask me about the person suing me, right? He said, you think she's going to push forward even with having the evidence that you're not Spicky? I said, oh, she has to push forward. It'll be great. He says to me, why the hell did the cops show up? Where? Excuse me? He cites a tweet that I sent to Ness. He goes and finds it. I said, who said anything about the cops showing up? This was when Spicky and Bryden were on a live stream. Ness tweeted it out. I pulled up Periscope and did a live stream simultaneously. I said, some bimbo, some dumbo has been calling the cops saying that I'm both Spicky and Micro. I said, you actually saved my life tonight by tweeting the Bryden stream. It's why I said thanks earlier. He says that one. He says, oh yeah, you didn't say they show up. I said, yeah, right. I said, it's okay. Tomorrow it gets handled. Asked me if I'm going to show him the video. Says it's pretty rock solid. This video in addition to others. I said, it's a big day tomorrow. I file my answer. Countersuit. Request for criminal prosecution for knowingly filing false reports. And of course, I got as much of my digital footprint as I could. See, what you boomer people and fake anons don't understand about being online is that I keep track of everything. Wireshark is running now. It's always running, you dumbasses. So he asked why it's going to court. I said, because she's a psycho. Says, wish you could live stream it. I said, I'm not actually going, right? Do it over the phone. I said, so Hillary told you that the cops actually showed up. This is a double, by the way. I said, I don't care. I just know that Leah didn't tell you. So I was in the process of moving. And I had packed up a few things that were stored here at my parents' house. Jetted out. Got down the street. And my mom called me and said, the local police are here. I said, oh yeah? I said, what for? They said they're coming here on behalf of the FBI. I said, tell them not to go anywhere. Turned around, I came back. So they did show up. There is a person aligned with the plaintiff, a suspended or disbarred attorney by the name of Sarah Nagy. She's been obsessed with me for probably over a year, maybe 2 years. She's claimed that I'm Micro, where even Render64 had to come out and say, you have to be fucking stupid. Everyone knows that he's not, right? And then she hopped on this bandwagon with the plaintiff. So anyways, the local cops came. They said they were coming on behalf of the FBI. Cool. I told them that I hadn't had any direct contact with this girl since March 11th, and that I wanted to talk to the agent that was following this up. Which I did. It ended up me being, they wanted to come out and say, stop doing what you're doing. And I said, no, I'm not doing anything. So as a matter of fact, I said, I want to talk to who sent you out here. When I eventually did, I went down to the FBI and I spent the better part of an afternoon there. They originally weren't too crazy to talk to me because you can't get into those buildings. There's like a bulletproof vestibule where they'll stop you and say, okay, well, what do you want? You know? And I told him the situation and he said, okay, he says, I'll take the report right here and then someone will call you. I said, not good enough. I said, I need to talk to the person who was following up on this. I told them who was involved and the story behind it and how the people that surround this plaintiff file knowingly false FBI reports. As soon as I mentioned their names, he went away. He came back about 10 minutes later and he said, okay, yeah, you need to come in. So thank you, Sarah, because now they know your name and they also know Neil Rauhauser's and William Wellness. See, they only knew him outside of Connecticut before, but the name rang a bell. Luckily, I brought down a USB full of archives. 32 gigs apiece. They were very concerned about your guys' behavior. Anyway, so JB knew that the cops showed up, or he guessed, but I only told Leah. I happened to tell Hillary that day, and I told the remaining people left in the Discord. And he says he just assumed that they showed up based on my tweet. Okay, fine. You know what? Maybe.